Super Jaiyan is from Brisbane. He likes to nuttin' girls, and he doesn't think Tessa Fowler is a 10, but he likes Scarlett Johansson. I don't know the words of this song, but it sounds really good. I don't know why he has Dragon Ball Kai on Blu-ray and DVD. You only need one of those.
For starters, let me just say, this is Super Jane, guys, and you said Brisbane wrong. It's Brisbane, not Brisbane.
Did I say Brisbane?
Yeah, it's Brisbane, but
Brisbane.
I forgive you. I forgive you.
Do I have to re-record it again?
No, that is fine. It can be basically a bloopers reel for the video.
But then I have to re-record it again.
Nah.
All right, well, anyways, this is Talk Dragon Ball. I'm D from Epitome of Geekdom, and this is Super Jaiyan. And on today's little conversation, we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball, because the show's called Talk Dragon Ball, and that's what we talk about. But first of all, I want to plug Super Jaiyan's channel. I'm going to put the link right there in the description, and I'll probably put it as an annotation too. Go ahead and check out his channel. He's doing some new videos now, and of course, there's always the videos of the collection as well.
Yes, very important that everyone see my fantastic collection. No, I'm just bragging now. Don't mind me.
It is nice. But again, I still don't understand why you have Kai and DVD and Blu-ray. I'll never understand that.
Because a true collector just has to have everything.
Then, well, like I told you before, then you got to get the Japanese singles, you got to get the Spain version, you got to get the Italian version, you got to get all that stuff.
Nah, because I'm all Kai Master Race, so I'm just going to start collecting Kai now.
I like that, Master Race. I like it. So I'm a Hispanic man, but I actually have light hair and blue eyes, and so therefore people are like, hey, you know, you have Aryan blood, and I was like, well, I mean, I am originally, you know, a lot of Latin people are originally from Spain. Well, me and my other friend, who's from Chile, but he's like me, where he has blue eyes, he refers to us as genetic recessive master race, because it doesn't make any sense, but it kind of does, you know.
Yeah, the only race I ever get referred to as being as a member of the PC Master Race. And that's probably an insult. It's probably not a good thing.
Well, let's talk about the Saiyan race, which is really the topic of this.
Yep, main topic of the day.
Which is the best race in many ways.
It is.
So
it is. I wish I was a Saiyan, okay?
Well, you're Jaiyan, so that's close enough.
Yep.
And yeah. That joke got over like a fart in church. Anyways, got over like crotch rot. No, but so a buddy of ours in the comments section here, DBAF, well, a buddy of mine, but I'm sure that he's your buddy too, because everybody's your buddy. DBAF Hellstorm. We were having a conversation in the comments section of a previous video, and off the top of my head, I don't remember which video it was. Doesn't really matter. We were talking about Gohan, and how in Fakatsu no F, and spoiler alert for some of you guys about, you know, Gohan's fate, he is significantly weaker. In fact, he's kind of been dropping in power since the Cell game. I mean, he got the boost from old Kai, but other than that, he hasn't really had a big power boost since then. So we were talking about SSJ God, and the conversation was, you know, can Gohan become an SSJ God? And the answer is yes, because what we know from the Dragon Ball Battle of Gods movie, what was explained to us is that to unlock the SSJ God form, you have to do the ritual where all the Saiyans hold hands. You know, what was it, 6 pure-blooded ones? Is that right?
I think so, yeah. I think that is correct, yeah.
So,
pretty sure.
That tells me that any of those 6 could become an SSJ God. You just have to pick it. Because nowhere in any of the mythology of this form does it say that you have to have a certain kind of power, or be a certain age, or be a certain sex, which is kind of what's going to be the main topic here. So yes, the answer is that Gohan should theoretically be able to become an SSJ God. And then that brings up the question, why don't they just make everybody an SSJ God, and then, you know, have an army of superpowered, overpowered people? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Maybe Goku and Vegeta are stingy and don't want their kids to have it. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I think it might be a waste of time though. Goku and Vegeta, even without Super Saiyan God, were significantly stronger than all the other Z fighters. I'd have to guess. So
I think so too, but it doesn't say in the movie anywhere that you have to be a certain level of strength to get that form.
No, that's it. Yeah, they'd get a boost, but they probably wouldn't be relevant. I know maybe Gohan wouldn't get knocked out by first form Frieza in one hit, but sorry Gohan fans, but bringing up a sore point there.
You rub it in every episode now, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I think it's theoretically possible for every single one of the Saiyans, Goten, Trunks, Gohan, Here's the big question though. This is what he asked. Yep. Do you think that Pan could become a Super Saiyan God even though she's not an actual Super Saiyan? That's a good question because I don't believe. Now again, we're speculating because we don't have enough information, but I don't believe the original SSJ God was just an actual Super Saiyan. We have no evidence of that. No.
He might have just been a regular guy.
Yeah, regular Saiyan. Yeah.
Now, I don't think that Pan could hit the God mode inside the womb. I would kind of fear for Videl and if she could, but that brings me to kind of a question that's been talked about in the fandom for many years. Number one, I do think that this is going to sound weird, but I do think that Pan could unlock SSJ God with the ritual. Okay, I do think so, but maybe I don't. And again, this is the big question in the fandom is, can females become Super Saiyans? Because we've never seen one, ever.
No. Well, let's look at the facts here. Yeah,
Saiyans... and before you continue, just want to say one thing. We're going to reference the manga. We're going to reference three different sources, okay? We're going to reference the manga as the first primary source of where we're going to get our information from, because that's the 100% correct source, right? As you know, you'll agree with me. Number two, the anime. We're going to look at that and see what they say about it. Not as important as the manga, but might still be relevant to the conversation. And number three, we're going to reference the GT anime, because there's a few questions that brings up as well. But continue to your point, sir.
Well, thank you. We do know that there is male and female Saiyans. I mean, how else would Vegeta and Goku have been born as pure-blooded Saiyans? So I do believe that the female Saiyans would be able to do all the exact same things the male Saiyans could do. Whether they are the same strength as the male Saiyans, that's an entirely different topic. But I don't see a problem with, say, Jine, Goku's mother, being able to transform into a Super Saiyan. I would have to believe if she got enough training, she probably could as well, even though she was written as not a fighter. She was a bit of a softie, Jine.
Yeah, she worked at the meat factory, right?
Yeah, she wasn't like a fighter like Bardock was. But yeah, I imagine that male and females alike could do all the exact same Super Saiyan transformations that the males could do. Based on my opinion.
Well, and that's your opinion, and that's the thing about when we talk about this. This is very similar to like a what if video in a way, because a lot of our data is going to be based on kind of just. It's not so much about what we know, it's more so about what we don't know, because we never, and we're talking about, again, those three sources. I'm not counting fan-made stuff, there's fan-made images of Pan with, the gold hair. I've seen them. It's very common. Yeah. We're talking about what we actually see in the anime and the manga, and we never see a female become a Super Saiyan. But does that mean that they can't? See, that's the thing. We don't. Yeah. People will say, well, it's like the Mystic Gohan thing, where people say, well, Gohan never does SSJ again, even though now he does and forgot to know F, so he can't do it anymore. No, that's not the case. He can do it. He doesn't need to. Same thing here. We don't know, but there are some points that I wanted to bring up to you about this. Do you think that Pan in GT, and again, GT is the third level here as far as canonical stuff goes, do you think that Pan was able to even come close to achieving the training / power to hit at least the base SSJ form? Because I don't think so, but some people, with GT, it's very questionable about how strong she is. She's strong, but I don't see her being stronger than,
No.
You know what, bro? I think Pan in GT is probably the equivalent of, Kid Goku at the end of the Piccolo arc. That's the way I kind of equate it, but I don't know if you'll agree or not.
I think Pan would be stronger, but I don't see her being anywhere near the level of training or fighting experience to hit Super Saiyan. But Super Saiyan's always about emotional upheaval as well. So
That's right. Goten and Trunks did it. All right.
yeah. So if she had the right motivation, she could probably do it. I don't think that she was powerful enough to be effective as a Super Saiyan anyway. So even if she became a Super Saiyan, I don't think she'd be that effective as a fighter. But she does constantly go up against opponents that we know are decently strong. I mean, she fights Baby in his like basically Baby's base form, which is
Baby's baby form.
Yeah, and we don't know how powerful that is exactly because there was never any power levels after the Frieza saga, but we know that he's obviously got some level of power. She also fights some of these Shadow Dragons, and she's pretty effective against some of the lower tier Shadow Dragons early on in the Shadow Dragon arc. So I think she's stronger than all of the Dragon Ball characters, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, I think I always put her in that class. Now, here's the thing, okay? I'm going to address a couple of fan theories here because one of the things that we do a lot, you and I, and also just me on my channel and you on your channel separately, is that we debunk a lot of things that aren't actually true, whereas not in a negative way, like I don't think that we're insulting, but there's a lot of fan theories out there that are not, they're not accurate, they're not true. Now, one theory is that females cannot go Super Saiyan, and one of the theories that's been going around for years and years and years is that the gene that is passed down between, from, I guess, birth or whatever, is only a male gene, which is what I believe it's, is it the Y chromosome? Yeah, the Y chromosome.
Yeah.
So a lot of fans believe that, that females under any they can get powerful because they have the same genes, but they can't hit the Super Saiyan form. So what do you think about that as a fan theory?
Well, as a fan theory, it really depends on the person because if they're a fan that considers GT part of the anime canon, which I know a lot of people do, like there are a lot of people out there that do, they're contradicting themselves instantly because we know that at the end of GT, Pan is the great grandmother of.
I was going to bring that up next, actually.
Yeah, she's the great grandmother of Kid Goku, who transforms into a Super Saiyan at the Tenkaichi Budokai against Kid Vegeta. So, if that's true, then it pretty much if they consider Dragon Ball GT anime canon, then they're contradicting themselves right there.
Well, that'll be my next point. But the thing is that the whole thing, manga, anime or not, is we never see a female do it, so a lot of fans believe that they can't. However, here's where it gets interesting because there's a twist in this. Dragon Ball Heroes, the Japanese arcade game. Now, Dragon Ball Heroes is like a fourth or fifth canon. Like that I don't consider that canon at all because it's just a video game. However, there is a character in Dragon Ball Heroes named Viola, and she also appears in Dragon Ball Heroes Victory Mission. And again, this is not Toriyama work, or even Toei in many cases, so we really can't sit here and say, oh, it counts or it doesn't count. But if you want to count it, Viola can go not only Super Saiyan 1, she can go Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah,
and there's pictures online of it. So does that, in your opinion, is that enough to validate that females can do it?
Not really, because I could have, right from the start of the video, and it was in the back of my mind, right from the start of the video, I could have just said, the game that's just come out over here and in internationally, Xenoverse, you can become a female Super Saiyan in that. So it really, no, to be honest, it's not.
You're saying it's just a game. That's what you're saying.
It's just a game. I mean, by that logic, Broly and Vegeta can become Super Saiyan 3. Like that, I don't use video games as any sort of argument or canon. It's not canon, basically, is what I'm saying.
I understand, but I do think that it adds more to the mystique of can females do it. That's
of course, right? Yeah.
Now, so the other point that you brought up, another fan theory, which is a very bad one, is that that one of the I don't know where this rumor started. I don't know where this thing started. This has actually been talked about since the 90s, like since way back then. And that's what you mentioned earlier about the end of GT with Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr. sparring, and they both go SSJ. And, we see Pan there. Now, Pan is Goku Jr.'s grandmother. Now, some fans have speculated that the reason why Pan cannot go Super Saiyan is because the blood, it has been too diluted. Because Gohan is a 50-50. He's a half-breed. Pan is a quarter breed. So the belief is that the quarter breeds cannot go SSJ. But that doesn't make any sense because, as you pointed out, Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr. go SSJ. So as a result of that, if you really do the math, let's throw a little curveball in this. There is a possibility, even though it's very, 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 very slim, that Pan actually married a Saiyan. Maybe there was a leftover Saiyan that hooked up with her. Who knows? We don't know. This is just a fan theory. And then in that case, and that would kind of, it's still, a quarter, but it would give it a little bit more of an argument. But if you do the math, right, Goku Jr. is what, 16 out of 100? What's the fraction of that? Because if Pan is a quarter, and then you divide that again and again, what is
1/16th, Saiyan?
1/16th. There you go. Exactly. You're better at math than I am. So that kind of kills that theory, bro. Because if he's 1/16th and he can do it, and he's really young. That's the other thing. He's extremely young. There's no explanation, bro. There is no explanation as to how that kid is able to do it. With Goten and Trunks, there's always that fan theory that, Goku and Vegeta were stronger when they impregnated Bulma and Chi-Chi respectively, and then therefore, that's why they're able to do it so young. But this is, if you really think about it, right? Theoretically, Goku Jr. should be weaker than any of them. As far as with the Saiyan blood and everything. So that theory's out the window, bro. I just don't see how the dilution of the blood is the reason why they're unable to do it. I don't see that.
Yeah, no, I think that. Yeah, I'm not going to contradict myself here. I do think that females are capable of doing it, but I don't think that in GT, if you consider GT anime canon, I don't think when the blood gets that diluted, maybe they can't do it, but at that stage. But not getting off topic, I think females can become Super Saiyans. That's my belief, because I think female Saiyans have all the same attributes and all the same. We're talking about pure-blooded female Saiyans here. Pan, I don't know. That's up in the air.
Well, the Pan thing, remember, I don't believe that the dilution of the blood matters. I don't. That's my belief. So I think you're right. I think Pan can do it. I really do. If she trains as hard as Goku and Vegeta do, and they have enough of an emotional upheaval, I do think they can do it. And by the way, Viola from the Dragon Ball Heroes game, she's actually a half-breed herself. So yeah, and she did SSJ 3.
Yeah, well, we see Goten and Trunks do it in fusion. That could be considered as a logical point there, because even though they are in fusion, they are both half-breeds. But
that's right.
Yeah, the thing I would bring up there is, as well as, I think it's more the Saiyan gene, and I'll reference something in the anime and the manga here. I can't remember. I'll have to check the sources for the manga. But the anime, I remember Goku says a line when he's trying to amp Vegeta up to fuse with him, when they want to do Vegito, and he goes, "We've already lost one race, let's not lose this one too." And I don't know if he's referring to the Earthlings, which he probably was, or he's referring to the fact that they've kind of started fresh and both started families and they've got Saiyan genes in their family, sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's more of a Saiyan gene thing. I think Pan probably could do it, but I don't think she was ever strong enough or had the emotional upheaval to do it.
Do you think? Here's the last question before we get out of here. Do you think, in your opinion, that in the next few years we're going to see it on screen or in something Toriyama related, whether it be a new movie or a new manga or something that Toriyama's going to do? Do you think he's going to do this? I've never seen it as a priority, but you never know.
I think he will, to kind of throw a curveball into the franchise, because I think the main complaint he's going to get from the new movie is a lot of fans are going to complain, you keep giving us new hairstyles and new colored hair. We want to see something different, and I think that might be a thing that he could do, is bring a female Super Saiyan into the mix. But that'd be, I don't know, it'd have to be pretty far down the track, because I think it'd be kind of silly to make Pan a Super Saiyan at such a young age, like Goten and Trunks. I just don't think it would suit her character.
It would suit Bra more in many ways.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And that's another point I bring up is even though there's a lot of things we don't see, as you mentioned. We never see the females turn Super Saiyan, so that doesn't mean they can't do it. But we see Bra fly, and like in GT she flies. So here she is. She's only a half Saiyan girl, and she's got all the same. She can do all the same things that Trunks can do. Technically, she can fly. She can use ki. You would imagine if she can fly, she can use ki, because as you know, Gohan explains to Videl, flight is through using your ki.
That's right.
Yeah, so she has all the same abilities as Trunks. I don't see why she wouldn't be able to use Super Saiyan as well.
Yeah, we just never see any females do it at all. But
That's right.
But how many female Saiyans have we seen? I mean, we've seen, in all they can. We've seen Bardock's chick, Selpia,
Gina.
I think her name was. Well, Gina is Goku's mom. I meant the chick that's in his army, Selpia,
Yeah.
and Gina, like you said. Those are the only two full-blooded Saiyans that are females. I can't think of anybody else.
Yeah, that's
So,
right.
yeah.
And he does have a female Saiyan in his fighting squad. So
Well, that's what I just said. That's what I'm talking about, Selpia.
yeah. But I was just bringing up a point there, is that she's a fighter like they are. She's not just like Goku's mother, for example, doesn't like fighting, whereas she's a female Saiyan. She's she's doing the same stuff that the male Saiyans are doing. She's out there fighting on the front line, sort of thing.
Yes, exactly, and that's the thing, that she's out there, she's fighting, but she obviously, just like anybody else in that group, didn't have the power to unlock it. Well,
Yeah.
Thank you again, sir, for joining me, and everybody subscribe, comment, you know the drill, spread the word about the channel, and we'll keep bringing these to you as we keep coming up with fun topics to talk about.
Yep. See you later, guys.
And of course, subscribe to Super Jay's channel and subscribe to this one as well if you haven't.